Hi, Pete Moore, Mart TV, and welcome to Benelli M2. Most people know the Benelli. It's been around for a long time, and it's a cracking semi-auto. My first encounter with them was back in the 80s when we started shooting practical shotgun, and back then pretty much everybody used pump actions, usually Remington 870s or Mossberg 500s, and it was rare to see a semi. And I saw a couple of guys with basically what looked like this, 20-inch barrels, fixed iron sights, extended magazines, and with rather ugly brown stained woodwork. And I'd never heard of Benelli before. And the guns seemed to perform well, guys liked, and they weren't that expensive. And I didn't think much about it. And then later on, as I got into this business as an editor and a writer, I sort of correlated the two of the fact that I'd seen some of the first early M1 Benellis. The M1 went on to become a synthetic gun, which looks very much like the M2, though the M2, as we'll see, has some better features. But the M2's come about just because things get improved and you can't stay behind, and it's a cracking gun. So a lot of people see it as almost like a gamekeeper's gun, because most gamekeepers I know have got an M2 or an M1 with an extension. They just think one of those guns that people like. My colleague Andrew Johnson, who wrote this up for a paper article in Mart, has had his for I think 15 years, and it's battered and careworn, but it still runs. The real difference in these the Benellis from most of the other semi-automatic shotguns is this is recoil operated. The only other recoil gun that was out there back in the old days was the Browning A5, which was a very strange beast because it had a long recoil system, which is though it works on the energy of the cartridge, very different to this. This uses a twin lug bolt that locks into the barrel, and it's kept in place by a spring and a heavy carrier. When the gun fires, the pressure from the cartridge pushes back obviously down the bore and tries to push the bolt open, which it can't because it's locked. However, that energy can transfer itself to the carrier, which is the actual item that keeps the bolt locked. So what happens is there's a moment of dwell time when there's high pressure in the barrel, and the energy stroke has come back down, it's pushing on the bolt face and it can't move it, and then suddenly the cartridge clears as such, and then the energy then transfers to the carrier, and it pushes the carrier back, which rotates the bolt, boom, you're open, spring it up, it pushes it back. It's an elegantly simple system compared to the gas piston guns, where you've got to worry about how much gas is coming in, what's happening. Plus they stay a lot cleaner because there's no gas floating around in the barrel as it will be in this gun. The only issues with a recoil operated gun is they can be cartridge energy sensitive. I talked to Andrew, who's not an expert, but he's had a gun for so long he knows exactly what it does. He keeps reasonably away from light loads because it just won't cycle, and that's the factor of a recoil operated gun. There's a lot of semi-autos, even the self-adjusting ones, will not cycle with light loads. It's as simple as that. But that's the main caveat. So we're going to shoot the thing and then have a little chat at the end. But this is the M2. I quite like it. I've never owned one. I've shot plenty of them, and I think I might be missing out on my smoothbore experience. Okay, so let's go and see how it goes bang. So, what do I think of the M2? Well, it's a cracking shotgun. It's a proven recipe, reliable. So this one's the 28-inch version with a 7+1 mag tube. I know it's seen by many as a keeper's gun, but I'm looking at it probably more from a practical point of view. It's reasonably light, loads well, reliable. The only thing about a recoil operated gun is, of course, that it's very reliant upon the amount of energy created by the round. So I would stay away from the lighter stuff. It worked very well with some 28 gram 2 3/4 clay loads, stuff like that. But if you drop down the weight from 28, and you need to check your loadings first to make sure they're going to run. So that's the only caveat with any sort of recoil operated gun. Find the right ammo and you're there. And things like number 5, stuff like that, half decent game loads, AAA, it all works very well. What makes it for me, because I'm getting quite recoil sensitive as I get older, is this stock. It's fantastic. If you can see here, has rubber chevrons inserted either side, along with a shaped gel-filled recoil pad. As you can see, it's angled like that. And even with the heavier loads, this Benelli call it a ComforTec stock. Even with the heavier loads, it makes the gun very comfortable. I've shot some 50-gram rather nasty Fox loads through it some time ago, and yes, it was kicky, but it wasn't kicky as it would be in a standard fixed butt type gun, you know, your standard semi-auto. It's a good gun overall. It's easy to run, so you've got your bolt release there, locks open the last round, like so. Trigger's good, smooth, reasonable. Safety catch, you've got a slightly enlarged, what I call a big head button this side, which is nice to have because you can literally flick it off with the side of your finger, although Benelli don't do it on the other side, which I thought would be equally useful. The shell lifter is slotted, again, belt and braces. If a round happens to jump back for any reason, which can happen sometimes, then you can easily get something in there to push it back in. I've converted my Remington 870 to a slotted lifter because I had a jam in the competition and I had to stop and take the trigger back out to get the round out. Fore end looks quite fancy, but it's nicely shaped. It's rather wide and round at the bottom, and as you can see, slim at the top, and it locks the hand in very nicely. Got a sling swivel plate here, which you can put from left to right or right to left. The only thing I think again is missing is Benelli have got a hole for a loop, but I quite like a side-mounted sling. It would be nice to see them just incorporate, if they could have done, a side-mounted sling slot like that at the front. Comes with usual 5 chokes, the classic tapered and angled rib with a red bead. Overall, I think rough price is under £1,500. Bear in mind, Benelli's a quality item. It's not bad at all. So yeah, if you're looking for something not just for practical, but this would be for a semi, it'd probably be my choice for practical. But if you want a high capacity gun, so you can get these without the mag extension. There's a section 2 as well as a section 1 where the importers will ring the magazine tube to restrict capacity, which is quite legal. It's not bad. You know, you're looking at that's good money for what is a quality gun that's been around a long time and looks to be around for a long time in the future. So that's Pete Moore signing off. Thanks to GMK for loaning this rather fine gun. I'll see you later.